Hey Marissa, it's Jackie from London. And I realized that it has been so long since I have filmed a video blog for you that I've forgotten how to do it, and this is like my fourth attempt now. I've been here like a week and a half now, and it is a lot of fun. It is really cool. It took me a little bit to like get a feel for it, but now I think I'm getting there. Except today I was pickpocketed, so maybe I'm not quite there. Yeah, I was in this little gift store buying postcards, one of which I was going to send to you, so you can blame yourself fully for this if you want to. Anyway, I was buying postcards, and this guy like bumped into me, and I like turned and glared, and he said, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and I'm like, "Okay, no, don't worry about it." And then he bumped into me again, and then I like suspected something, but by the time I like turned around, he was gone. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, weird. And then when I was like a minute later, one of my friends came up to me and was like, "Jackie, why is your backpack open?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I should have known." Kat, one of the other girls in my group, she saw him, like, because he had tried to get her bag as well, but she couldn't stop him. So we called the cops, or rather, I made her call the cops because I'm afraid of phones. And they came, and they were really nice, like, these two British cops, a lady and a man. And, you know, they were really like, "Oh, yes, let's get this guy. Oh, jolly ho." So, Kat and I got in the cop car, and meanwhile, I'm on the phone with my parents on I have a little pay-as-you-go phone. And I'm like, "Can you do the track my iPhone thing, on the computer? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be all secret agent about this." So they're like on the computer tracking my iPhone on a map of London. Okay, well it's at the Marble Arch tube stop, and I'm like, "I'm right there." So I'm like looking around trying to find this guy, and I'm like, I can't find him. So then we start driving, and they're like, "Okay, he's moving towards like George Street." The cops in the front are like, "Okay, let's get him." So they put on their sirens and they start going ahead, and we're driving through all these streets, and I'm like actually, well, half really upset that I lost my wallet and phone, and half so excited because I'm in a cop car with the sirens on, speeding down the street, trying to catch a criminal. And then about 15 minutes of I'm on the phone with my parents and we're following my iPhone around, that we stop, and then my parents are like, "Yeah, okay, the iPhone stopped on the map." So then they get out and like they start questioning this one guy who kind of looks like the guy we saw, and the guy doesn't have my phone. And then the lady cop gets back in and she's like, "So you're sure your phone isn't with you?" "No, no, no, I already checked. I looked. It's not in there." And she's like, "How about we give it another look then?" So I root through my bag, and sure enough, like wrapped in some papers at the bottom of my backpack is my phone, but my wallet was actually gone. But I was humiliated because we had just chased me around the city, basically. But they thought it was hilarious. They just bust out laughing, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And they're like, "Oh no, haha, this was good fun. Like, we're gonna catch this guy and get your wallet back." And I'm like, "Okay, please do." But I'm totally embarrassed, and I was brick red for like an hour afterward. But I got to ride in a cop car is the takeaway point of this story, and it was really, really cool. Even though I'm now credit card list, driver's license list, and like we have like these little Oyster cards that swipe us into the tube, and I lost that too, so I have to get a new one of those. And I don't have my ID, so if I want to go clubbing, I can't because I don't know my date of birth, unless I want to bring my passport with me, which I don't, because if I lose that, I am fucked. So yeah, that was my day today. Okay, so yesterday I went on this really cool street art tour. It was all around the East End of London, and we followed this tour guide around who's a street artist himself, though he didn't get to show us any of his work. But we saw some Banksy. You probably heard of him. He's pretty big on the internet, and a couple other people. And it was just really neat. Like, now I like want to be a street artist because I think it's the coolest thing ever. There was this one where there was a security camera, and then like around the security camera was this picture of like a helicopter, because it was like like surveillance or whatever. But like obviously he did that illegally, so we were like, "Oh well, like how would he even get that up there like right in front of the security camera?" And he's like, "Well, a lot of us dress as like servicemen in like the most bright colors you can get, with the vests and stuff, and bring a ladder, and just look like official business, and like go up there like they're fixing the camera, and then just like put up their art or whatever, and no one's ever the wiser, because he's like, yeah, if you come out here in a hoodie, you're just gonna get caught. It's like bad situation." So, but I want to take this street art back to Ann Arbor via bathroom stalls, but you didn't hear that from me, because now if all the bathroom stalls are drawn upon, they're gonna know it's me, and I want to be incognito. So yeah. Oh, I went to Dublin this weekend, except rather I went to Wolverhampton with a side trip to Dublin, because I spent more time in Wolverhampton than I spent in Dublin, even though Wolverhampton is this tiny little town near the Welsh border. And we spent a little bit of time in Holyhead too, which is actually a really, really pretty little town right on the coast, where the Holyhead Harpies are from, and Quidditch, or whatever. Unfortunately, both times we were there, everything was closed, because the first time we were there, it was quite early in the morning, because our train rolled in at 6, I think, or 5 maybe even. It was really early, and then we left on the ferry, took the ferry to Dublin, and then when we were coming back, it was after 5, like, p.m. on a Sunday, and everything was closed, because everything closes on a Sunday, apparently. In Holyhead, there were, like, no people about, only cats, which was kind of funny, because then we're like, this town is run by cats, and my roommate doesn't like cats, so she was, like, coming up with these whole conspiracy theories, and they're pretty funny. Then Wolverhampton was cold. The first time we rolled in there was at 1 in the morning, and we were leaving again on the train at 5, which means that we must have gotten into Holyhead more like 7 if we left there at 5. So yeah, we roll in at 1, and obviously nothing's open, so we find the, like, customer lounge, but this guy says, oh, you're not allowed to be in here, and we're like, oh, but our train's leaving at 5, and he's like, okay, sure, you can stay. But it's freezing because they don't have heat, you know, it's inside, but hardly, so we're, like, curled up on the floor and whatever, and it's ungodly cold. So then 2 nights later, like, we slept the night in Dublin, and then 2 nights later we're back in Wolverhampton, but this time our train came in at 11:30 instead of 1, so we're like, okay, we'll just sleep in the customer lounge again, you know, we bundled up, and then this lady comes up and she's like, you can't be here, and we're like, oh no, but our train is leaving at 5, and she's like, it doesn't matter, you need to go get a hotel room, and we're like, well, 2 nights ago you let us stay. She's like, well, we shouldn't have, and we're like, well, what do we do? And she's like, well, there's a hotel, you'll have to stay there. And we're like, well, we don't have any money, but we ended up having enough, and ended up being like 5, there were 10 of us in a hotel room with 2 beds, and it ended up only being £5 a piece, so it wasn't bad. But still, we're like, oh. It was like the perfect ending to a trip, that trip, because it was just the most ridiculous thing ever, so we're like, we were joking on the train, like, oh, what if they don't let us stay, haha, and then they didn't, so it was like, of course this happened, why would we even expect to be allowed to stay there? Tomorrow I'm going to the National Maritime Museum and to see where they have Greenwich Mean Time, which I don't quite know how we're going to make an entire day of, but apparently there's enough to do there. So actually I think I got a packet that I'm supposed to read, so I might ought to do that. Because I've kind of like forgotten that I'm here to take classes because I've just been, you know, messing around and shopping and getting my wallet stolen and, you know, going to Dublin and street art and whatever. So it's like I haven't really read or written anything. So I really should get on that. Aww. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I guess you're done with school now, but you haven't really talked to me since then. Last time I talked to you, you were writing an essay or something or freaking out. As per usual, and I really hope that your semester went well and that you're pleased with the work you did, that you feel fulfilled, that you're not disappointed in yourself, because I could never be disappointed in you, so I don't think you should ever be disappointed in yourself. I love you. But no, really, I do. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. So yeah, bye!